A religious leader came to Jesus to ask a fair and honest question. He said, of all the commandments, which is the most important? The answer that Jesus gave centered around loving God and others, a tandem that continues to be absolutely important for us today. There were 615 individual commandments in the law of Moses, 365 negative ones, and 248 ones that were positive. Obedience to all of them were required, but some were weightier. Leaders tried to sum up the whole law in a single unifying command. Jesus said this when asked that question in Mark 12:29 through 31. The most important one, Jesus answered, is this: Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength. The second is this: love your neighbor as yourself. There are no commandment greater than these. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Before we get the commandment, Jesus gives us the source of the command. It's the Lord our God, whom we know through stories of the Old Testament. Not a remote, unapproachable God, but the God who comes at you. He spoke to Abraham and Samuel, gave instructions to Noah concerning the ark, and called to Moses through a burning bush. God, who is without limits, interacting now with over 6 billion people at once in the world, without any drain or diminishment. The Father in heaven is without limits in his love for his creation. This is the one to whom Jesus is referring when he gives his answer. When he says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. Love the Lord your God with the whole of your heart. In the Bible, the heart is the core of who you are as a person. It's the place where you have your will, attitude, and intention. We love God with our whole heart through the decisions that we make. Love the Lord your God with the whole of your soul. And the soul is central to the personhood of a human being. We love God with our soul by our very life given to him. Love the Lord your God with the whole of your mind. The mind formulates true, consistent, and reasonable understandings. It discerns conclusions that are erroneous, deceptive, and false. We love God with our minds as we examine the Scriptures and as we think on things that are true, honest, pure, and lovely. Love the Lord your God with the whole of your strength. We especially use our bodies to express our love for God. Bowing, singing, serving gives bodily expression to our love. We love God with every resource that's available to us. We are meant to believe in God, but we're also meant to love him. It's a fully devoted, complete, all-encompassing love. This way of loving is relentless and unquenchable. The second commandment is this: love your neighbor as yourself. So what does it look like to love your neighbor as yourself? It looks like doing the very best for your neighbor. It's always happy with the truth, and it's not me first. It doesn't want what it doesn't have, doesn't force itself on others, and doesn't fly off the handle. It never stops trusting, never loses hope, and never quits. Then the question becomes, who is your neighbor anyway? Jesus told the story of a Jewish person who went on a trip. He was attacked by robbers and left beside the road half dead. A priest And then a religious worker walked on past him without helping. It was a non-Jewish Samaritan who compassionately helped. Jesus then asked the crowd, "Who do you think was a neighbor?" Of course, the real neighbor was the Samaritan who helped out. Our neighbors are any whom we come across that are in need. So then, how do we obey such a high standard of loving God and others? Surely obeying His command changes you as a person and helps to make the world a better place. Yet, many of us have tried to keep these commandments and failed. We've wanted to love God with all of our heart, soul, mind, and strength, but have been tripped up by the power of sin. Here is the key spiritual insight. We follow the great commandments of loving God and loving others through the power of Christ enabling us. Stay vitally united to Christ, and He will stay joined to you, producing a love for God and a love for others. And those, my friends, are words of hope. I invite you to say a prayer of belief listed in the description box below.